All right, so get this right. It seems even with, all the Instagram and perfectly polished PR out there, some things still slip through the cracks. We're diving into some late-night Hollywood intrigue. Think legendary hotel, big names.
Yeah.
The kind of story that makes you go, wait, really?
Yeah, sometimes it feels like the cameras are always rolling these days, but it's those off-camera moments, the ones we don't see coming, that can be the most revealing.
Totally. And this one's got it all. Picture this. Chateau Marmont, just past midnight. Bill Maher, the comedian, political commentator, never shies away from, well, anything leaving with Noor Alfallah.
Chateau Marmont, that place is practically built on secrets.
Right. So even if they were trying to keep it low-key, that's the choice. But before we go any further, for those not glued to every Hollywood happening, can you give us the quick rundown on Noor Alfallah?
Sure, she's made a name for herself, not just for, the high-profile relationships, but she's a film producer, she's making moves in the industry, worked with some serious talent, even started her own production company. That's not easy to do, especially in that town.
No kidding. And speaking of those relationships, we were talking about Al Pacino, right?
The one and only.
Had a child together recently, which, given the age difference, kind of raised eyebrows from the start. Then not long after, she filed for full custody.
Bold move. Even without any official statements, it says a lot, doesn't it? That she felt confident, capable enough to make that call, kind of shifts the narrative away from younger girlfriend to someone taking charge, shaping her own path.
Especially when you think about some of Alfallah's past comments on marriage. I was looking back at this interview. She basically said it wasn't a priority for her. And this was while she was dating Pacino.
Wow. Talk about knowing your own mind. That takes guts to be that upfront, especially in that world.
Total power move.
Yeah.
Makes you wonder how those conversations were going down behind the scenes. But it does paint a picture of someone who's not afraid to defy expectations.
So we've got these two, each with their own, let's say, unique approach to relationships, both used to the spotlight. And then, bam, late-night rendezvous at the Chateau Marmont. What are we supposed to make of it? The articles you sent over don't exactly shy away from the juicy details. Maher and Alfallah driving off together hours after she was at dinner with Pacino. Yeah, and it's like you said, the Chateau Marmont, that place practically whispers scandal. It's almost like they're leaning into the speculation, It makes you wonder if places like that are designed to do just that. What do you think?
Part of me thinks if you really wanted to keep it on the down low, maybe the Chateau Marmont isn't it's like they're practically inviting the rumor mill to have a field day.
Oh, they've got a full-blown buffet going over there at the rumor mill with this one. But that's what I find so fascinating about these kind of moments. Is it a genuine slip-up? Or is it a perfectly timed bit of, orchestrated buzz? Celebrities have definitely used this kind of thing to their advantage before.
Oh, for sure. Sometimes that little bit of mystery, that's way more valuable than some, perfectly crafted press release. Gets people talking, keeps them relevant.
Right. And what's interesting here is we've heard nothing, radio silence, from both Maher and Alfallah's sides. You'd think in this day and age when image is everything, someone would have jumped out with an official statement. That in itself is kind of telling.
It's funny. I was just reading this piece about how younger generations, they see celebrity totally differently. It's not all about the perfect facade anymore. They almost prefer it when things are a little rough around the edges, a little more real.
Yeah, I've noticed that too. It's like the whole overly curated, always on persona, it's losing its shine a bit. People crave authenticity, even if it's messy. Which brings us right back to this Chateau Marmont situation, doesn't it?
Totally. Is this more about them, about who Maher and Alfallah are, or is it more about us? Our own need to, dissect these lives, these stories that feel so much bigger than our own.
Well, and there's something kind of, let's be real, a little voyeuristic about it, right?
Oh, right.
Especially with these two. I mean, they're both known for being outspoken, pushing boundaries. So we almost expect them to keep us guessing, like it's part of the package.
Totally. Maher's entire career, it's built on being provocative, on not shying away from controversy. And Alfallah, well, she's definitely forging her own path, wouldn't you say?
Oh, absolutely. Let's not forget, this is someone who had a baby with Al Pacino and then dove headfirst into producing, filed for full custody. She's not exactly looking to blend in, is she?
Okay, but let's play devil's advocate for a second. What if, and I know this might sound crazy, what if it's none of that? What if this rendezvous was completely innocent? Just two people in the same industry, grabbing a late-night drink, brainstorming ideas.
It's not impossible. I mean, she's building her career as a producer, and Maher, he knows everyone in this town. A late-night meeting of the minds at Chateau Marmont. It's not exactly outside the realm of possibility.
Right. And suddenly the narrative shifts. It's not a scandalous tryst. It's just business as usual in Hollywood.
Funny how that works, isn't it? Sometimes the simplest explanation, the one that's staring us right in the face, it's the one we overlook because we're so busy looking for something juicier, something more.
So are we saying this whole deep dive was just us getting caught up in the Hollywood spin cycle?
I wouldn't say that. I think it's more about recognizing the different layers, right?
Mm.
We can acknowledge that a business meeting is totally plausible, while still appreciating how both of these individuals navigate the public eye. It's never just black and white.
And that's what makes it so interesting, right?
Totally. We're drawn to these stories because they offer this glimpse into a world that's both familiar and completely unknowable. And this glimpse in particular, it sparked a lot of questions, hasn't it?
Questions we might never have the answers to unless, of course, one of them decides to write a tell-all memoir.
Now that I would read. But seriously, I think what's most important here is the bigger picture. What does this whole thing say about our fascination with celebrity, with image, with those moments where we feel like we're getting a peek behind the curtain, even if it's just for a second?
It really makes you think, right, about how we're hardwired for this stuff, seeking out these, I don't know, these little windows into other people's lives,
Yeah.
especially those who seem to, operate on a totally different level.
Oh, totally. It's human nature, right? We're drawn to stories, always have been. And in a way, celebrity culture. It's almost like our modern version of myths, these larger-than-life figures living out these extraordinary lives.
So we're all just modern-day myth makers then, creating narratives around whoever we deem worthy of what our attention, our obsession.
Maybe, but I also think it goes a little deeper than that. It's not just about entertainment, right? It's about trying to understand ourselves, the world around us. I mean, we look at these figures with all their flaws and contradictions, and we see reflections of our own desires.
Anxieties.
It's like that saying, we don't see the world as it is, we see it as we are. Our own baggage, our own interpretations. It all colors how we see things, how we see these people, these events. Exactly. Which is why it's so important, I think, to approach these deep dives, these stories with, a critical eye. Question our own assumptions. Be open to different perspectives.
So where do we go from here? Should we all just swear off celebrity gossip? Delete our social media accounts?
Probably not a bad idea, actually.
Yeah.
But no, I think if anything, this whole conversation, it's a good reminder to be aware, to be, conscious consumers of information, especially when it comes to this world, the world of celebrity. It's also carefully constructed.
Right. Like we said, there's always more to the story.
Always. And honestly, sometimes the most interesting stories are the ones that leave us with more questions than answers.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Well, that's it for this deep dive. Thanks for joining us as always. And we'll catch you next time, same place, for another story that'll make you rethink everything you thought you knew.